Welcome to the stream, guys. I'm just waiting on a few more minutes so everybody has a chance to join. All right, just going to give it a few more minutes, guys. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes just to let everybody join, and then I'll go ahead and get started. All right, so before the stream starts, guys, go ahead and ask any questions in the YouTube chat. I will be monitoring that throughout the entire stream, so feel free to pop in there. I'll answer all your questions. I'll be looking over and making sure I can stay on top of that. But I want first everybody to breathe. It's a crazy slate. It's probably the craziest the entire season. I'm actually overwhelmed myself, but I've been updating all the values pretty instantly as soon as I see the injury news. I literally have Fantasy Labs up and ready to go. I have all their updates ready. I'm gonna pull them up on Twitter now to make sure I don't miss anything. And guys, if I do miss anything, please send me a chat in the YouTube chat. Just go ahead and comment what I'm missing, because I know I'm getting overwhelmed too. So, but I want everybody to sit back and breathe. We have this under control. We have been updating all the values all day long. So if anybody's on top of it, it is me, and I'm ready to go ahead and break down what I've been learning. So, the news that has come out since the video was posted actually came from Cleveland. Also, guys, let me know if the mic is too loud, because I actually have it up to my face for like the first time ever. So I'm gonna know how that acts. I'm gonna go ahead and do that after the stream is over too. So, with Love being out, I think that was the injury news that came out after I released the video. I believe Kevin Love is the only person out for Cleveland. I can find them. Yeah, for Cleveland. And then Garland's also questionable. So we look over here for who that boosts. I already input all the values and everything. Larry Nance is really the only person that we're going to look at, because Cleveland is such an evenly distributed bad team. Anybody can step up any given night. So unless you're going GPP-wise, Nance should have the highest exposure in all my lineups tonight. That goes for cash. That goes for GPP. Nance, do not be afraid to start Nance tonight. 32 minutes, 3-point. If he doesn't hit value, he would have had to get in foul trouble or something, but he will hit value tonight. Larry Nance should be literally in almost every one of your lineups. There's no questions asked. And we also learned that Brogdon is out. So Brogdon, I did some number crunching for that. I actually have that up right now. So the biggest boost and increase is actually going to come from Aaron Holiday. No surprise. 0.1 fantasy points per minute increase. So Aaron Holiday, if we look at the roster and minutes, he is projected at literally 32 minutes. So he averages exactly 1 fantasy points per minute. Aaron Holiday is going to be in an up-paced game, so he's actually a decent play. But again, we're talking with all the other injury news that came out. I don't consider Aaron Holiday any more than a solid GPP play. He's not going to be in my cash lineup. Also, Miles Turner, believe it or not, actually got a slight increase in production. So those guys are going to be GPP plays. But as of right now, we're looking at Nance, Ilyasova, Joseph, Macklemore being up there. I actually didn't mention him in my video, and he was under the radar for me. I just didn't compute his value at the time. 28 minutes, he should get a pretty good run. So his percentage ownership is going to be about 2% in tournaments. So I'm only playing him in tournaments. I'm not going to be playing him in cash just because he does get his production from shooting. With Capello out, his usage actually did go up. So a lot of the builds, I'm just going to say right now, the way that it's going to be built, just like a majority of lineups across the board, are they're going to have studs and they're going to have some value plays. And those studs are literally going to come from Westbrook and James Harden. So those are going to be your studs to start tonight. If you're looking for a safe play, one of those two guys you already know is going to go off because they are in a high-paced game. I believe the line moved even more. So the line is at, I believe it was at 122 last time I checked. Yeah, 122. So they're playing Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a horrible team defensively. Westbrook and Harden should easily hit their value tonight. Based on my research, though, Harden has the higher point per dollar value on their sheet. It's just Westbrook has been performing at such a high pace these past couple games. I mean, he's been hitting value every single time. 52, 47, 56, 60, 53. Literally has hit value every single time at 9.2. He only has to get to 46 DK points to hit value. So that's usually the priority. I wanted to be here to build my 150 lineups because if you guys have viewed my videos, what that does is it allows me to see what... Oh, well, let me rebuild because that's my first build of the day, which obviously Cam Reddish fell down with all the injury news. So 1 second, I'll let those build. And in the meantime, I'm gonna check NBA Fantasy Labs because there's still some pending injury news, and we'll go over that in just a second. They just announced the lineup, the starting lineup for the Raptors. That doesn't matter to me. I had a question asked earlier, is Ibaka still on my radar? Yes, but he's not going to be in my cash lineups. He will have some exposure in GPPs. He is playing Boston, and the last time they played Boston, they got blown out, actually. So he only played 24 minutes, but he should have a full workload tonight. And like with you guys knowing, Gasol and Siakam are both out tonight for them. So like I said, Nance is literally going to almost be in every single one of my lineups tonight, 97% exposure. Westbrook, 93. I don't know if I'm going to have exactly 93 just because I want James Harden and Westbrook to have similar exposures just because I actually like Harden a little bit more tonight. Yeah, I think he has a higher ceiling. Ilyasova, Joseph, Holmes, we already talked about this in the video, and it just goes down from there. Those are going to be my cash locks. I'm going to probably be locking in Nance, Westbrook, Ilyasova, Harden right now, Joseph, and honestly, Holmes those are all fantastic plays. I'm probably not going to lock Macklemore, as I said earlier, in cash plays or in a cash lineup. I'm going to talk about the pending injury news right now. What we are still waiting for is obviously this annoying Beal news, because if he is ruled out, that will literally shake up the entire slate, because as you guys know, Beal is the best player on that team, and he garnishes such a high usage rate against New York. Again, guys, let me know if I'm too loud, because I think I'm too close to the mic. And obviously with all the injuries now, Bertans is out. I think Wagner's questionable. I think he's leaning towards playing. So yeah, I don't know. I 1 week from December 21st, that would mark today. So he might be back today. We're still waiting on that news. But Washington, I'm the most intrigued in them, because if Beal is out, we are going to be stacking the Wizards. This slate is crazy. And for the guys joining now, everybody breathe. Breathe. Please breathe, because we have been crunching numbers all day. I know it gets overwhelming, but we have everything updated right now. So right now, Nance, Ilyasova, Joseph, Westbrook. Macklemore is going to be more of a GPP play for me. I know he's showing a high point per dollar, and honestly, if you want to start him in cash, I'm not against it, but he's just such a high volume shooter, and if he goes cold, he sucks, and if he gets hot, obviously he gets hot. This will be a game that he will do that, because against Brooklyn, like I said earlier in the stream, he's going to be in a pace-up game, so he'll get plenty of shot opportunities. I'm not against Macklemore, but I don't think he's safe in cash. As you can see, the percent ownership is at 2%. Keep in mind that it is tournaments, so that is not reflective of cash. All these are for tournament. Like Larry Nance, 33%, and cash. Yeah, right. Nance is literally gonna be the highest owned guy probably the entire season. So That's the most obvious play. I also got a question earlier about Middleton. You know, with what he did last night and the time that he did play, he was going ballistic, and then they pulled him because it was a blowout. Is he going to do that again today? He's in a pace down game. I don't hate Middleton. I'm not playing him in cash though. At 110, that's actually a low over/under for Milwaukee. They're usually around 122, which is it's a pace down game against Orlando. So Chris Middleton, they tag him here as a core play on Roto. I know that's I usually don't follow these guys. No disrespect to them, but sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't. But at 30 minutes, 8.2K in a pace down game, yes, he's fantastic on our sheet. He's fantastic point per dollar when Giannis is out, but again, that pace down game, I don't necessarily consider him a cash play. Top 3 value for cash just got asked by Bradley. Let's go over here. Are you talking? I'm gonna talk about like just overall value for cash. Are you referring to mid-range, expensive, cheap? I'm just gonna go right off here. So Nance, Ilyasova, and Joseph, those guys are gonna hit value tonight unless they get in foul trouble. 1,000%, no questions asked. Those are the most obvious plays. If we're looking at straight injuries, guys, we looked at in the video. We looked at the Kings. The Kings are going to be missing Fox and Bagley against Phoenix, which is a pace-up game. Courtney, I usually don't do FanDuel. I'm sorry if you joined the stream thinking that we're doing FanDuel. But usually they are reflective of the same kind of pricing. So you can follow this advice and go straight to FanDuel and be completely fine. I got asked about Harden on FanDuel earlier. Harden is still fine on FanDuel. I got asked AD or Harden. AD's still not on our radar right now because AD is still, or LeBron's still questionable. I actually haven't checked on the status recently. So yeah, he's still questionable. That's going to be annoying because that's one of the late games. So this slate is a mess. Yes, it's overwhelming, but like I said, we have everything up to date right now. Brogdon got ruled out. And like I said, guys, if somebody else is ruled out, please just spam the chat and let me know because I might miss something too. I have Fantasy Labs open on my phone so I can see, but it doesn't mean I won't miss anything. Yeah, so we're looking at Houston with Capella being out and Gordon and Cephalosha doesn't really matter. But with Gordon and Capella off the court, Russell Westbrook and James Harden are just usage hogs. It makes sense because James Harden, even though he passes the ball a lot to Capella, gets that assist. He's going to have to create more of an offense tonight against the weak Brooklyn guards. Dinwiddie does not scare me whatsoever. Joe Harris or Temple's a joke. So Daniel House, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook are all great plays. Like I said, McLemore coming off the bench is a fantastic GPP play. And I actually might play him in cash, but his ownership is just way too low. I might stay away from him. He's only 3,700. I mean, he's gonna be putting up shots all night, so it's just about whether he hits them or not. Top 3. I already read that. Middleton. So what players do you pick in pace down games? It depends. If you're looking for cash plays, I usually try to avoid people unless they're completely obvious in pace down games. Like Larry Nance playing in Minnesota as a pace up, so I will play them in cash. Ilyasova is like a completely obvious play just because 25 minutes, 4.3K. I'm just gonna pull up the game he did last night. 42.75 points. Holy cow! In 24 minutes. So I mean, the guy really does do everything down low. Whenever Giannis is out, I'm assuming because Giannis takes so many rebounds from him. How many rebounds did he get last night? He literally had 17 rebounds. So, yeah, Ilyasova, obvious play in the pace down game. I usually try to avoid them unless they're so stinking obvious that you can't get away from them. Corey Joseph, again, pace up, so very chalk. McLemore, he's going to be pace up. Westbrook, complete chalk. So like if the question is who am I playing in pace down, who am I looking for pace down, it's going to be Ilyasova. Really anybody from Milwaukee for cash, the only person I'm playing is Ilyasova. Middleton, I wouldn't be opposed to playing him in cash, but it's even showing him it's 2% ownership in tournaments, which I actually don't think is accurate. It's going to probably be higher than that. Don't look at the percentage ownership on Roto because it's not accurate 24/7. But it does paint a pretty decent picture. Like, obviously, if I sort here, Nance, Westbrook, Holmes, Harden, like, they're all great plays. Joseph, but they're not going to be exactly 45% owned in tournaments. He's definitely going to be higher. He's going to be probably close to 70% owned, 60 to 70% owned in tournaments. Roto does a great job at keeping up on the ownerships, but again, they're not accurate. Actually, some of the most accurate projections I've seen is actually at Awesemo. Guy's a genius. Sometimes I'll look at ownership projections on his site. All right, so no more questions in the chat. I'm going to switch over to Fantasy Labs, see if there's a notification. Nothing yet, which is frustrating. Again, we're still waiting on that Beal news. One second, guys. All right. Yeah, so feel free to send any questions in the chat, guys. What else was I going to touch on? I had touched on Washington. I touched on the Lakers. So if... Clicked it wrong. LA team. So the Lakers, if LeBron James is rolled out, which is a decent possibility, actually, Anthony Davis is an auto lock just as much as Harden. Because he would... I mean, think about it. When he played for the Pelicans, 10.2 was a discount for Anthony Davis. It's going to be about the same kind of situation for AD. He's going to carry all the offense. And the backup guys for LA are even worse than what they had in New Orleans when he played there. So he's going to carry a bulk of the offense. Another person that went up is actually, or usage-wise, is actually Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard might be a strong GPP play, but if we do get the late-breaking news, he's not going to be in any cash games. He won't carry any ownership. And another guy is Kuzma. I think that's obvious. Kuzma usually steps up. The only reason that Kuzma doesn't get any kind of offensive run is because LeBron James is on that team. Kuzma would be the main guy, even though he's actually not that good of a player, in my opinion. Do you like Stars and Scrubs tonight? Absolutely. It is going to be a Stars and Scrub kind of night. Honestly, if you go any other direction, I feel like you're doing it wrong because there's way too much value on the slate. Like I said, I'm just going to go back to organized by point per dollar. Your builds could look... It could look just like Stars and Scrubs. Nance, Ilyasova, Joseph, McLemore, and then come back with somebody like Westbrook and Harden. I don't even know if you'd be able to fit Doncic in there too. Doncic is a decent play, obviously, because he's going against Spurs, but if I'm paying up for a guy, it's going to be 1,000% James Harden. Do I suggest Cam Reddish or McLemore for cash? No. Not anymore. Cam Reddish I did have. I wouldn't be opposed. Like, if you're filling your last couple slots, I would be okay with it. But McLemore, like I said, he's just a shooter. I like putting high usage guys in my lineups for cash because those are guaranteed points. People like Westbrook, people like Harden, people like Nance, he's going to get rebounds. Ilyasova is a high usage guy. Even Joseph is a high usage guy with the injuries. So McLemore is literally just a shooter. Like, Joseph is going to be handling the ball. Ilyasova is going to be grabbing rebounds. Nance is going to be part of the offense, hopefully. I don't like McLemore and Reddish. They're just shooters. I hate shooters unless they're in pace-up games. Yes, they're in pace-up games, but if you're looking for a cash game, solid play, I look to players like that. So to answer your question, no. If you have to go to them, it's not the worst-case scenario. So I'm going to go back to my lineup building that I did at the beginning of the stream. So this is what my exposures would look like if I had to lock in right now. Sorry, not that one, because I just roasted Cam Reddish. Nance, Westbrook, Ilyasova, Harden, Joseph, Holmes, they all top the list. Anybody in the Kings, if you guys look, there's 5 Kings here. With Fox and Bagley out for the Kings. There's a lot of usage to go around on that team, and they are playing the Suns, so it's a pace-up game. It's a premier matchup. I think they're going to keep it close. Joseph, Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is another great play. I haven't mentioned him yet. Bogdanovic is a usage monster. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that team looks like. A lot of different people step up on that team when those guys are off the court. It's very even. So I'm not opposed to stacking those guys in a high pace game. Fox. Bagley. Hopefully this gives us a good sample size. I'm afraid of that. Yeah, it gives us plenty of sample. So like Bajelica here, 3.1% increase in usage. Let's see. Buddy Hield gets an increase. Everybody gets increases with these guys out in the court. At least their starters do. So like there's not a single one who doesn't. So like even Harrison Barnes, even though I'm not really high on Harrison Barnes, keep in mind these guys are in a pace-up game. 2.4% usage boost for Bogdanovic. He's just a stud in general. We love playing him here at Daily Grind. I was just asked, I'm going to go in order here. Got Westbrook, Harden, Tucker, Ilyasova, Nance, Joseph, Lamb, Levine. That's not bad. Is that cash or is that GPP? Because it seems more of like a GPP just because of Levine in there. And Tucker, I'm not too high on. I'd rather start other guys from the Rockets in there. If a high-paced team plays a low-paced team, does it lower the game pace? Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, so if, like, let's go back here. Let's take the exact opposite of what you just said. Let's say a high-paced guy plays a high-paced guy. It's only going to increase the pace of the game. So these guys are obviously, like Houston's projected, their normal over-unders around 116. 122 is their projected over-under. Brooklyn's around 110, so they got a boost and increase in the pace of the game. So like, so here's a good one. So Minnesota's playing pace down because they're usually pace up whenever Cat plays. They're usually around 118. And if they're playing a pace down team like Cleveland, they're going to be negatively impacted. Whereas Cleveland, they're usually around 100 because they just stink. Their offense stinks. So they're 100, 102, but they're playing in a pace up, so it's going to help everybody on Cleveland. So like people like Nance, it's going to help. And I take that into account when I'm doing my projections because I won't compute a new value for somebody who's playing in a low pace game because like obviously if I computed throw out somebody, Macklemore, right? If I computed his value and it got an increase, I'd only put in that value if he's playing in a pace-up game. But if he got a lower increase, I wouldn't change the value. So this is some advanced talk. Sorry if that confused you guys. Somebody asked, everything is GPP on the slate. This size, Tucker will play a lot of minutes, and the 5 as well. His projection is way too low. Yes, I can agree with that. I'm just saying that there are better plays on Houston. I'm not saying that Tucker could not go off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, me personally, like if I'm playing a player, like House is just a better player in general. So House would be a great play. Macklemore is just cheaper. He's going to be putting up a lot of shots. But Tucker's another great play. Tucker's a good play. I'm saying that I prefer other players on Houston. That's all I'm saying. But I prefer him like over the rest of these guys for sure. I'm going to go ahead and look at Fantasy Labs. Let's see if we got any updates on injury news. I'm still waiting LeBron and Beal. Still nothing. That's frustrating. Don't worry. I feel the pain with you guys. Is Wiggins playing? We don't know yet. That's a great point though. Thanks for bringing that into the chat because if he is not playing, then Towns does play. That's going to shake up a little bit because people like Graham and Covington are going to take a lot of the usage from them. And even Towns is going to take a little bit of usage, so that could actually boost him. But like we just got done saying, he's playing in a pace down game. So I'll have to compute values for them. Oh, another player, Tobias Harris. They're in the pace down, but if Tobias Harris is ruled out, he's another good usage guy. So that would be very interesting if he is indeed ruled out. So that's another thing we're waiting for. Tobias Harris in a pace down game versus Miami. I'd only play somebody if it's really obvious. If Tobias Harris did get ruled out, that would help people. Actually, let's just go ahead and look at it. Be ready for that because he just came out to be questionable, which is usually pretty bad news. Usually when somebody just randomly comes out with that, it usually means they're not going to play that night. So, like, I think it's an illness, or is it a hip injury? I'm getting them all mixed up now. If it's an illness and they come out as questionable, they're probably not going to play. All right, who's questionable for these guys? So let's take Tobias off the court. Tobias. All right, who gets the increases here? Al Horford and Josh Richardson get a heavy dose of usage. And is that in a good sample size? Al Horford, that's in 113 minutes. That's enough for me. And Josh Richardson in 266 minutes. So keep that in mind. If he is ruled out after lock, you guys can pivot to these guys, Josh Richardson or Al Horford, and then be in good shape because those guys will carry a bulk of their usage, of Harris's usage. Who do you like at center for GPP? Well, let's go ahead and look at that. All right, so for GPP, all right, if you're talking about just a low ownership guy, well, I'm going to be playing Nance in probably 100% of my lineups tonight because there's no way he doesn't hit value at 3.8 in a pace-up game. If I'm looking for a low-owned guy, like Mahimi would be a great pick against New York. Vooch is always a good play. Oh, yeah, Vooch is actually a great play. He didn't have to battle any rebounds against Giannis tonight, like I discussed earlier on the chat. It's the reason why Ilyasova did so well last night, because look, for the people joining, look how many rebounds Ilyasova got last night without Giannis. That just shows you the impact that Giannis has rebounding-wise and just being a part of the offense. So Ilyasova takes so much of that usage away in the rebounds, and look at this. It was in 24 minutes. I mean, that might be one of the best performances we saw in DFS this season. I mean, Ilyasova is going to be in a majority of my lineups as well. He's only showing as a 15% ownership, so he might actually be a good GPP play as well. Ilyasova might be a very good one. Now, if you're talking about low ownership, I'm like Vooch or Illy would be a great play. Carter for Chicago. I actually haven't really looked at him yet. Yeah, I mean, anybody playing against Atlanta obviously is a great play, but like I said, I'm going to look at my exposures again and see what kind of centers popped up for me. Ilyasova. Holmes is a great play. Holmes is actually probably more of a cash play. Are there any centers down here that made it on? AD with LeBron. I mean, 10.2 is still a discount for AD. Like, with LeBron playing, it's still a great price. But if he doesn't play, he's an auto lock, 1,000%. And like I said, Vooch. Vooch showed up in 6% of my lineups. So let me go and refresh, see if any minutes changed for these guys. Nope, nothing changed. All right, Bradley Beal just got ruled out, guys. Bradley Beal, alert. Bradley Beal just got ruled out. So I'll go ahead and look at that team right now for you guys. I'll show you what I do. Get ready for this. Tyson Chandler will start for Capella. That's not really going to impact much. Chandler doesn't really play that much, guys. Don't overreact to that news. All right, so who's still out for the Wizards? We're going to take Bryant off the court. We're going to take, obviously, John Wall. We're going to take CJ Miles off. You guys are going to stay for this because this is gold. All right, Gary Payton will start for Bradley Beal. Good to know. He actually snapped last time. You said Cat out? Okay. I have yet to get that notification. Can somebody confirm that Karl Anthony Towns is out? Bertans is still out. Sorry, I'm taking a while to do this, guys. All right, I'm afraid the sample size won't be too big. If that is the case, I'll just exclude. Yeah, see, like the sample size for this is under 117 minutes. I'm just gonna take off. Honestly, I might just take Bradley Beal off. Did I not exclude Bradley Beal the first time? Yeah, I'm just gonna take Bradley Beal off, guys. See what that does. Yeah, so I mean, even that's like a smaller sample size. So that just shows you how much Beal plays. So let's go ahead and refresh this to see if the minutes updated because that will give me a good idea of what I'm going to do with these projections. Is Beal off the court? Beal is already off. Awesome. So they updated minutes. Doesn't look like they did yet, so I have to keep refreshing, waiting for that. I could estimate them, but I'm not going to do that. I'm a perfectionist. I want these to be exactly right. I'm telling you guys are going to want to wait for this if you guys are bouncing in and out of the stream. This is huge. This could change the entire slate. It probably will change the entire slate. They still haven't updated minutes. Nobody's getting starter minutes yet. But Beal's been excluded from them, so they're updating it now. I'm just waiting for the minutes. Waiting for the minutes. Anthony Towns was ruled out. We'll compute all of them right after this. Is Wiggins still playing? Can somebody confirm that? Is Wiggins, or did we hear any news on Wiggins? Help me out here. Wiggins is out? Is that what I'm reading? Appreciate that. Come on. Update these minutes. Unless you guys have minute updates for me, I'm not going to be able to go forward with these projections until those are updated. Seriously? Come on. I will tell you right now, so we can actually talk about the Wizards before anything's updated. Wiggins unlikely. This slate's about to get crazy. All right. So Troy Brown is a great spot. Troy Brown is actually carrying a bulk of that offense. Troy Brown is such a good player. I took him when he was 4.8. That's what he was, and he was he was coming off the bench. I can actually show which game it was. Troy Brown, I took him when he did this against the Knicks. When he was 4.8, he got 52 fantasy points and he played 32 minutes. He was coming off the bench and he was just on a hot streak. Troy Brown, I'm telling you, he's one of the best. He's one of the most surprising players this season. He's been so under the radar that nobody's been paying attention to him. Do we feel good about Heald? No. Heald is only a good GPP play just because of his ownership. But I wouldn't play him in cash. Brown, Peyton was just announced as starter, so he'll probably get closer to 30 minutes. Isaiah Thomas gets the biggest gets the biggest usage increase. So if we look here, IT, it's only 30 minutes though. He averages 2.13 fantasy points per minute. Yeah, right. He's not going to do that. I mean, he could against the Knicks. So we're still waiting on these minutes to update. Still waiting on these minutes. Once these minutes update, I will upload the projections for you guys. Holy cow. Why are you not updating? Beal's excluded from the player pool. Why are you not updating the minutes? Because these aren't actual minutes. Troy Brown is not only getting 28 minutes. Hate to tell you. Isaiah Thomas is not only playing 24 minutes. He's going to play the entire game probably. Like I said, I'm waiting for the minutes to update and then I'll compute the values. At least did the T-Wolves update? Where's the T-Wolves? So Wiggins is still in there. Can somebody please confirm that Wiggins is going to be out? Because that's a big question mark. If both Wiggins and Cat are out, I mean, it might be even more of a more obvious stack than Washington. So I always hate stacking it. Like they never do anything. At least Washington does something on offense. Seriously. If these don't update in like 10 minutes, I'm just going to put 30 for like the guys I think are going to play 30 minutes. It's right next to it. Okay. So the guy that usually slides in, Gorgie Zhang, is only projected at 22 minutes. He's obviously been playing 30. So those minutes haven't updated as well. So we're still waiting for those minutes to update. And once they update, we'll compute the values for Washington. And I'll give you a better idea of what direction I'm taking. I can tell you right now, though, it's going to be Washington. It's going to be Minnesota if Wiggins is out. And then it's going to be Sacramento. And the only studs I'm paying up for, Harden and Westbrook. Because these are the projections without Washington. Nance is a lock for me. Ilyasova, Joseph, and then Westbrook. I'm skipping on McLemore just because of the low percentage ownership. So again, we are still waiting on these minutes to update. Does anybody have another website where we have minute projections out for these guys? I know that Number Fire, I think that's the name of the website, has pretty good minute projections. And I can log on to Fantasy Cruncher. How about that? Come on, Roto. I know there's a bunch of smart guys over there. Why are you not updating? Luka's a decent play tonight if you're looking to pay up for somebody other than Harden. But like I said, the only guy I'm paying up for is Harden. Who do I like more between Bjelica or Bogdanovic? Bjelica. I actually like him more just because I think he's cheaper and he actually gets a higher usage boost. So the Wizards will start Isaiah Thomas, Peyton, Brown, Jonathan Williams, and Mahimi. Good luck. So if we look at this slate, remove all, we look at, I think my eyesight's getting, where are they? Are you serious? Is Washington not here? That was embarrassing. So yeah, they haven't updated any of the minutes, guys. That's crazy. Again, is my mic too loud? Because this is the first time I have the mic like right to my face. I wanted to see. I messed with some settings, so if it's too loud for you guys, just let me know. I can turn it down. Still waiting on Washington. Still waiting on Minnesota. Did we just get it? I think we got the update. We got it. All right. So, Troy Brown. Like I said, 1.27 fantasy points per minute. He's going to be playing a heavy dose of minutes. He was projected at 30. I think he's going to play more than that, to be honest, guys. We're going to put him at 38.1 fantasy points because that will be accurate. He's playing the Knicks. He's playing in a pace-up spot. Well, it's not really pace-up. It's just bad defense. So I don't mind putting that as an actual projection for him. Troy Brown. Okay. Who's next? Gary Payton's projected at 32 minutes. Payton, I know, is a pretty good ball player with him off the court. Averages 1.17. I'll probably just leave his projection there just because I feel like it's only 30-minute sample size, so I'm only going to leave it there. Ish Smith actually doesn't perform well with him off the court, which is actually pretty surprising. 23 minutes, I'm going to leave his projection there. IT is the guy I'm worried about the most. I want to see what he's doing. Isaiah Thomas, that's not accurate, man. 2.13, he's not gonna average that. I'm gonna leave his projection there. 29. He's still a good play. And there come a bunch of people added to the player pool. Who else are we looking at, guys? Mahimi. Let's look at Mahimi. Mahimi is 1.16 fantasy points per minute. That's only a 30-minute sample. I think it's a 15% increase in usage. Mahimi it's just too small to compute anything. I'm going to leave his price tag there. Although I have a good feeling he's going to do well. But I don't base anything off of a feeling. Troy Brown will probably go off tonight. I like Troy Brown tonight. I like almost all these Wizards that are playing a lot of minutes tonight. Hawks will start Reddish, Hooter, Hunter, Collins, Fernando. Courtney, I'm not too sure what you mean by what price range is considered pay-ups. Oh, you mean like what do I consider an elite, like a stud, like expensive play? 9K, I guess. Yeah, 9K. Anybody over 9K usually is too expensive. All right, Minnesota. Let's see. Oh wow, it's projected 42 minutes. This is gonna be weird. All right, so is Wiggins off the court right now? Yeah, they don't have Wiggins or Cat, so let's go ahead and update that. I'm gonna show you guys all the values right after this. Don't worry, this all will make sense in just a second. This is a crazy slate. But everybody breathe. We got this. We still have 30 minutes to lock. We got this. I'm going to get off stream probably in about 15 minutes. So, but don't worry, I won't leave you guys hanging. I'll give you a direction. These sample sizes are small. That concerns me. Are they too small? It's a main question. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. For the centers, I'm going to see what their output is without Cat on the court. That way it'll give me a better idea of like what their fantasy point per minute is. 1.15 for Zhang. He is in a pace down spot. But they're playing Cleveland. Yeah, 6.7 is a little too high for me. So this is more accurate. That's more accurate. And then for like Covington, Teague, I'm just going to take Wiggins off the court and a Kogi. Tobias Harris still a game time decision. It is intense. I'm telling you, this is the most intense a slate has been for me. Because it makes more sense. So the reason I'm taking Karl-Anthony Towns off for the big guys is because it's obviously going to impact them more. So I want to see what their output looks like without Towns. If you take them both off the court, the sample size is way too small. So that's the reason I'm doing it. But if you take Wiggins off the court, obviously you're going to involve shooters more. We're going to see what their output is. Does it make sense? Makes sense in my head. So like Teague averages 1.12 fantasy points per minute. What is he doing in 29 minutes? He is going to be around 32.48. I'll go with that. Yep. Shabazz. Man. I'm going to be so... I don't know what to do. I'm just going to follow my projections. I'm going to see what spits out. Trust the process, guys. Seriously, trust the process. A Kogi might end up being a decent play, but he's not a strong point per dollar player. It never has been. Who was I looking at? Stop distracting me. So Covington... I was doing Shabazz. Okay. Shabazz. 1.02. That's in a decent sample size. Shabazz. 7 minutes. 27 point. I don't like these guys. I'm projecting them down, not what Roto's projecting, because they're in a pace down spot. And honestly, the guys that are keeping that pace going are Cat and Wiggins. So it's going to be a horrible matchup. It's going to be competitive, but it's going to be horrible. A Kogi at 30. He averages 0.81. Larry Nance will start, obviously. Just got that update. Okay, so 24. Oh my gosh. He's only 3.3. Prepare for a Kogi, guys. I already know what's going to happen. Over. Let's do Covington. The averaging 0.81 too. Yep. That can be the same output. He's actually worse than Kogi. That's weird. See, like Covington's way too high. He actually hasn't been doing that well either. Okay. All right. You guys ready for this? You ready to see what our projections are gonna give us? Okay. All right, I'm gonna see what McRae does because I don't know if I am McRae just because it's 23 minutes. I know he's a great basketball player, really do, but I want to make sure that he actually is good without Bradley Beal because if Napier's gonna be a good play, guys. McRae, so yeah, 1.17. And that was in 123. 26.91. Yeah, let's go ahead and bump that down just a tad just because he is playing in a slight pace down. Just very slight, though. Let's reorganize that. So, okay. So this is what it looks like, guys. It's going to be a star and stud kind of night. Literally, the only mid-range guy I'm looking at is Troy Brown, and I was hyping him up earlier. So, Okogie, Nance, McRae, Ilyasova, Culver is showing at 24 minutes, 3.2. Stack these guys, stack the teams. Let's go ahead and see what the exposures look like because that's what I'm most interested in. Is there any other injury news I missed on? I'm going to double check. Capella out, obviously. Tobias Harris might shake up a little bit, but he's not a high usage guy. I mean, he is a high usage guy. They were playing in the pace down. Sorry. So, and he's not as big of an impact as like Cat would be. I'm trusting these projections. Cephalosha is available to play. Illness doesn't change much. All right, you guys ready for this? So what this does is it allows me to see like what guys fit the mold the best. Because like even though a guy is like 3.3K, but he's like the fourth guy down in that price range, it might mean that he's not a good play. So yeah, looking at this, so there's a lot of slots to fill in that mid-range. So it's basically saying that Troy Brown's the best mid-range option now. So I have Westbrook, I have Brown, I have Harden, I have Nance, and Ilyasova as my best plays on the slate. That's a wrap. Plug them in. If you're playing cash. If you're playing cash, I am totally on board with all these guys. I'm playing the two studs from Houston in a pickup or in a pace up game. I'm not opposed to, even in GPPs, because one of these guys is going to go absolutely nuts. The other guy's going to probably hit value and then some. But they're playing in a very high-paced game. Russell Westbrook has been snapping off. I do like Harden more, though. I will say that. Just a point per dollar value. And these percentage ownership guys, don't look at that because they're not going to update that close to lock. Larry Nance, Ilyasova, all those are great plays. Gary Payton's obviously starting, and he's been phenomenal with all the injuries. Okogie's a great play. I'm fine with all these guys. I'm going to make 20 lineups, and I'm going to play some GPPs tonight. I might make 150. I don't know. There's just too much injury news to ignore. I might keep it at 20 just to keep me sane tonight. Isaiah Thomas, the thing with him, dude, is like you don't know what he's going to do when the minutes are given to him. I think he actually got a price increase. So let's look at him real quick because I'm not too sure about playing him either. So 28 minutes, that's like what he normally plays. 5.2K, I'm not even saying it's not a great play. Like, and on any other night, that would be a fantastic play, but there's just so much value on the table tonight. I'm looking at people like McRae, Brown, and Payton before I look at Isaiah Thomas, unfortunately. As much as I like IT. IT's a great player. Mahimi's another good player for GPPs. I like Mahimi tonight. Mahimi does a lot on the boards. He has been doing great lately. LeBron, like I said, guys, the only studs I'm paying up for tonight are going to be Westbrook and Harden. LeBron and AD just in GPPs, but if you're looking for cash, it's going to be Harden 1,000%, and it's going to be Westbrook for me. I know it's going to be chalky, but they're in such smash spots. Why not? The only thing that can stop them really is the foul trouble. Isaiah Thomas is not a lock. That being said, Okogie's a great play. And yeah, guys, this is the most intense it's been in a long time. I've been trying to stay calm for you guys, but internally I'm screaming. Just got another update. 1 second here. Okay, so Wagner, Davis, Bertans likely to miss another week. That doesn't really affect us tonight. You guys have any last minute questions? I'm gonna get off in about 10 minutes. But this is the route I'm taking. If I had to recommend a core, because I know you guys like that. My core plays My core plays would be Westbrook. I love Troy Brown for mid tier. If you guys are looking for a mid tier player, it's going to be Troy Brown for me 1000%. It's going to be James Harden as another lock. The two guys from Houston I'm locking. Larry Nance, Ilyasova, Gary Payton's another great mid range player. If I had to lock any one of those players, I'd lock Westbrook, Troy Brown, Harden, Nance, and Ilyasova still. Maybe not even Ilyasova and cash, not necessarily a lock. I'd probably lock somebody like a Kogi that's guaranteed to get minutes and just so low. I like starting those close to bottom of barrel players, and then with high minutes, just because they're ceiling so much higher. If one of those guys hits and you have two of those guys in your lineups, if you have two of those guys in your lineups and they hit and they go like 20 points over what their projected value, like Okogie could easily get 30 points tonight. All your studs have to do is hit value, and you're getting close to taking down some GPPs. That's the way I look at it. So I love starting bottom of the barrel kind of guys that are playing in high minutes. People like Okogie, Nance. Nance has always been a lock for me tonight, ever since that Love news broke. Like I said, nobody answered, guys. I'm trying to ask, like, is this too loud, or I have it really close to my face? I'm not used to that. I'm a loud talker. Corey Joseph went down on the board. It looks like all the Kings adjusted down for me. Not happy about I'm not happy about that, because it was a pace up spot for me for the Suns. Middleton's definitely not cash anymore. Here's the optimal lineup here. If you guys want to take that, don't tell anybody. Gary Payton, McRae, Troy Brown, Nance, Gorgie Zhang's in there. Definitely not a bad play. Westbrook, Ilyasova, Harden. If I see these lineups in like 50% of the contest tonight, I will stop doing that. All these lineups are great. I'm not complaining about any of them. So it looks like Zhang actually fits the mold of a lot of these lineups. Zhang was at what, 6.3? But he's been doing fairly well. I mean, look at this, 41, 30, 48. It's a great play against Cleveland. They're obviously without Kevin Love. Zhang's a great play. All right, Aaron Holiday or Joseph for FanDuel. Like I said, guys, I stay away from FanDuel. I'm just DraftKings. But if I had to play like a player straight up, if the pricing's similar to DraftKings, I'm looking at Corey Joseph over Aaron Holiday. If you're talking straight up, Aaron Holiday. Aaron Holiday's in a good spot tonight. But again, if you're looking for cash plays, I wouldn't look at either one of those guys. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm sorry. I'm not a FanDuel guy. I like DraftKings. FanDuel's pricing is just like so amateur. I mean, you see people ranting about it all the time. It's like the pricing on there just allows the chalk to be even more chalk. Like, can you imagine playing? I can imagine playing FanDuel. No disrespect to the FanDuel guys. I can imagine playing FanDuel tonight on that website, because there's probably people that are bottom of the barrel that shouldn't even be close. Like, is Ilyasova bottom of the barrel on that website? I don't know, because I can't even imagine what that ownership would look like. Like a Kogi probably is. There's definitely an optimal lineup over there. Like on DraftKings, you can go so many different directions, as I just proved. Like, look at all these different lineups that I just crunched. And they're all fantastic. Like, for FanDuel, I feel like there's one fantastic lineup, and you really can't argue with it. Derek Favors. Let's look. I haven't even considered Derek Favors. So, against Sabonis, Favors at 30 minutes now. Not against Indiana. It's a pace down for the Pelicans. The only guy I was interested in earlier was Lonzo Ball, but even he's so streaky, I would only consider him in GPPs. Yeah, they priced him up. Yep. Cody's right. They priced him up. I mean, very respectful. I mean, Favors is a monster. He always has been, point per dollar wise. But against Indiana, no. I'm surprised he did that well against Denver. No, I really do like Sabonis as a basketball player. I think he's very underrated. Sabonis has always been. Sabonis probably will control him. He's very good offensively, too. But no, for GPP, maybe, if you want to stretch. But like, if you're looking for a mid-range center, it's going to be Zhang 1,000%. 4G Zhang is a great play tonight. I'm going to get off in like 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Ask your questions now. This is what my exposures look like. Anthony Davis actually got bumped up a little bit. The reason Anthony Davis just got increased a little bit is because of the mold of all of these bottom of the barrel guys ended up being in all these lineups, and then they had to put another stud in there like Anthony Davis. So that's the reason why he got bumped up where he wasn't as bumped up before. So Anthony Davis is always a good play, and 10.2 has a little bit of a discount. I believe they're in a pace-up game. I have to double check. I completely forgot who they were playing. Oh, Portland. Yeah, so like Whiteside, he's a bum. So going against like Whiteside down low, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see you guys playing Anthony Davis and be completely fine with that. But really do appreciate the support that we've been getting on this YouTube, guys. Honestly, it has been very humbling. A lot of you guys have been tuning in. A lot of people have been subscribing. I think I added like 23 new subscribers today. Very overwhelming. I really appreciate it. I love doing this. If you guys need any help, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to go on our website, dailygrindfantasy.com. We do post an optimal cash lineup every single night on there. I genuinely try to play GPPs only, but our analysts are always posting a lineup every single night for you guys on there. There is a subscription fee on that website, but if you guys need free advice, feel free to just send me a DM. I'm very friendly. I promise I won't bite. I'm always open to talking to you guys. I love it. I love the interaction. I love crunching numbers. It's been a passion of mine for quite some time. So I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so for live streams like this, so you guys be first to get that notification. Turn your notifications on, and we can do this every night. Hopefully it's not as hectic. 13 games. That's with this much injury news. I haven't seen that in a while. Haven't seen that for a while. Ask your last minute questions, guys. I'm going to get off soon so I can go ahead and upload these all to DraftKings. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait till I get off stream for that. But these are my exposures one last time for you guys. My favorite plays: Westbrook, Troy Brown, James Harden, Larry Nance, Ilyasova's up there, Gary Payton, and Okogie. I could keep going down. Those are my favorite plays. I just computed all the numbers. This isn't biased. This isn't Redlow Grinders doing the work for me. As you guys saw on the stream, I computed my own values. I use intuition on pace up, pace down games. I do that myself. And this is the best. This is the best way to do it for me. Stay consistent. What's one thing I've always learned to do? Stay consistent. Don't get discouraged when it doesn't work. Just keep going at it, because this is the most consistent process that I've found. Just digging into numbers every single night and using intuition. Don't let your bias get into making these lineups, because if that was the case, I'd be starting the Spurs every single night and that would make me no money. I'm a Spurs fan. So, like I said, guys, have a great night. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for all the chatting. I love it. Have a great night, guys, and I'll talk to you after the slate.